Hi, everyone. My name is Cory Sterling. I'm a lawyer with the law firm Counsel, and I'm very excited to prepare some information for you on how to protect yourself legally during inflation and economic crisis and rising costs and expenses and what the world is currently experiencing in October 2022. So there are four main points that I want to share. And I think that if you cover all of these, then you're going to be in significantly better shape to protect yourself, to keep more of the money that you're earning, and to circumvent any of the challenges that may be arising due to the current economic activity. Before I dive into it, just a little bit about me and our law firm. I started a law firm called Counsel. We offer heart-leading law to our clients. The reason why I started my law firm and operate it the way that I do is because I saw too many fitness and health entrepreneurs not understanding the law and not enjoying working with lawyers. And law is such an important part of your business that it's really imperative that you understand the law and you understand what you need to have in place to protect yourself as you are going through your entrepreneurial and small business journey. So that being said, I'm going to dive into the first point. And the first way that you can best protect yourself during inflation and economic crisis with rising costs and expenses is to use customized agreements. I cannot stress the importance of using customized agreements enough. A customized agreements means that you are signing an agreement or a contract that is specifically designed for you and your business. So this could be a specific waiver of liability that covers the way that you operate. It could be a specific client service agreement that outlines the relationship that you have with your clients. But the biggest problem that I'm continuously solving for on a daily basis when it comes to my clients is they've signed an agreement that they didn't really understand, that wasn't drafted specifically for them in their business. And some problem has come up, someone got injured, someone wants to sue them, they have a staff member who's displeased, or a member wants a massive refund, whatever it is. At that point, once the issue arises, the way that it's going to get resolved is through the written agreement, through the signed contract of the parties. And when you have something that you borrowed from a friend or copied from the internet or something that's not specific to you and your business, your legal position is weak, and then you have to start investing a lot of money into resolving the issue legally, as opposed to if you were to have had your documents set up properly, specific and customized to your business from the start, then you would just have to send me an email or send your lawyer an email and say, hey, this person wants a refund, but they're not entitled to it. Can you please deal with it? And this is constantly, I've been saying it for 5 years of my business, and I'll continue to say it. Using customized agreements is the most important part to protect your money, because you work so hard to gain clients and to win and earn revenue. And unfortunately, I see so many clients losing that money just because they didn't have the proper legal foundation in place at the start. So that's the first point. The second point is to actually get everything in writing and have everything properly signed. I can't tell you how many times that I work with clients who have agreements but maybe don't use them, or they're obviously, if they're not drafted properly, but they don't have things in writing. And they say, oh, well, my clients know me, or I've got a great relationship with them, or I'm friends with everybody, or they love me, or whatever it is that they're going to say. At the end of the day, the solution to a problem that arises will take place through the written agreement. And if you do not have an executed, properly executed legal agreement, then you do not have a legal position. And then everything becomes very obscure and challenging and uncertain. And what I always want for my clients is for them to be in a position to deal with an issue immediately and be able to dismiss any claim against them. And if you don't have written agreements saying what the intentions of the parties were from the start, then it makes everything more difficult. The entire process gets drawn out, and the financial investment that you're making for legal goes from something like $2,000 for a package of documents to have everything perfect for you. When you don't have signed agreements and you don't have customized agreements, then you're going to see that's going to go up 4x, 10x. So it's sort of strange. The first 2 points that I've mentioned here have nothing to do with the economic environment, and all of it has to do with setting up your business properly and making sure that you have everything signed and customized to you and your business. But the reason why that's so much more important now than ever is because there is a tense economic environment, and people are becoming desperate and more litigious than they have been before. And people are looking at the different expenses that they have on a daily basis or a monthly basis or an annual basis, and they're saying, what can I cut? How can I get out of this? And if you don't have the legal documents to support you in that, then you're at risk of losing your money. So obviously, as a lawyer, I can draft agreements to assist my clients in coming up with creative ways to earn more money and keep more money and be intelligent in that way. But just as important in this current juncture where we are is to keep the money that you have. The third point that I want to stress that's extremely relevant right now is being aware of the different relationships that you have. So again, let's say you're looking at your business model and maybe revenue is down because the economy is operating differently. You have to understand, okay, what are my obligations to my landlord? What are my obligations to my teachers? What are my obligations to my students? If I have a business partner, what is my obligation to my business partner? If I'm renting equipment from some company and leasing equipment, what are my relationships with that? And what do the agreements say, right? Because the agreements are always going to determine your legal position and what your obligations are. I remember in 2020, once the pandemic was really starting, probably the first 2 months of the pandemic, all I was doing was reviewing leases for my clients who had different fitness studios or coaching practices or massage spaces or Pilates or yoga or CrossFit or whatever it was. And all I was doing was reviewing leases, and I would always say to them, like, why did you sign this lease? Were you aware of these provisions? And my clients weren't aware of the relationships that they were entering into. So understanding your legal documents and understanding your relationships can be so liberating in the sense of, okay, well, I decided what this relationship was going to look like, and that if I had to give notice to terminate a contractor, that I could do so immediately, or whatever it is. You just always want to look at the different relationships you have. And then legally, what have I put down on paper for that relationship? And most importantly, does it benefit me? Does this give me the flexibility that I may need in the future in order to pivot should my revenue go down or should something else happen? And the last point that I want to share about how to protect yourself during inflation or economic crisis, it's really focus. And this is more law of attraction than it is the law, law from statutes and law from government and the law that governs society. And I just really want to say that I'm a big advocate for focus and choosing to focus on positive things, and that during this period we're tested because there is so much proof and evidence of what is happening outside that we can let that seep into our mindset and we can let that seep into our beliefs and what we think is happening. But when you control where you focus and what you're thinking about, you can choose to focus on positive things. And maybe if you're losing members, you could focus on the members that you have and how they could bring you referrals. So I'm not a doom and gloom guy. For me and my business, September was the best month that we had in 2022. Personally, I don't read the news. I don't know what's going on in the stock market. I don't pay attention to any of that stuff. What I focus on, what are the tools I have available in front of me right now to put my business in the best position to succeed? How can I invest more in the people who I work with? And how can I have a positive attitude and expect wonderful things? So I can appreciate that none of that has anything to do with being a lawyer, but those are the foundational elements of my outlook on life. So if I'm asked to give my personal opinion on how to deal with businesses with inflations and economic crisis and rising costs and expenses, the first thing I would say is, like, what are you focusing on? And can you choose something positive to focus on? And can you celebrate the wins instead of being doom and gloom? That being said, you need the legal foundation for your business to be set to protect yourself if these things happen. So just finally, in summary, the 4 main points that I shared today is, First is using customized agreements. It has to be specific to you and your business and the relationships that you want to have. Number two is to make sure that you're actually getting everything down in writing. This is how it becomes binding. And if there's a problem and someone wants a refund or someone wants to sue you, you can show that you have a legally executed document specific to the relationship that you wanted to have. Number three is getting clear on the different relationships you have commercially. So does that give you the flexibility to pivot? What are your rights? If you need to make a quick change, are you able to? What obligations do you have long-term? Because those expenses over the long term can really be challenging for you. And then lastly, it was just being aware of your focus, what you're thinking about. Are you looking at the positive aspect of something or the negative aspect? Is the cup half empty or half full? And positive thinking always gets more momentum. So it's a pleasure to share this with all of you. I look forward to being part of the Team Up community, and I'm sending you best of luck during these wonderful times.